Today I will show you the Effortless Building mod, which is for pretty much any version on Forge. I'm on version 1.16.5 right now. Link in the description if you want to download it, which I would suggest you would, especially if you're a builder. Now, what is this mod about? It's in the name, Effortless Building, where if you're a builder, or probably if you're not a builder and you have to build something in creative, then you will download this mod, press Alt, the left one. You will see all these options, and I will cover each and every one. Now let's start with normal. Basically, normal is just when you don't want to select anything else, and you just go back to normal building. So that's pretty much self-explanatory. Now, before I cover the others further, I first want to say this is the undo button, this is the redo button, replace. So these are the settings, and let's start off with normal plus. If you're on normal plus, you get a bigger range, and if you have it on fast build, you get to build fast, obviously. Now, where is this useful? It's useful when you have a wall, you want to fill it with leaves around, and you just don't care exactly each and every block, but you just want to fill it, or you want to fill a random area with it. I'll say this is the best implementation I found so far, but other than that, personally I don't use normal mode. You might find it useful, I don't. Now we're getting into the good stuff. So first things first, line. Very self-explanatory, it just draws a line. So the way you use this mod on pretty much the rest of the modes that you have here, you right click and then you move your mouse wherever you want, and then you right click again to stop. So instead of having to do anything manually and have to right click all the time, hold right click and move, all you have to do is select line, select the block that you want, right click once, go to the point where you want it, right click twice, and obviously that also goes vertically. And now let's move to wall. Wall, as you can probably guess, it creates a wall. So right click once. Now instead of a line, if I go up, it will also create a whole wall. Now sometimes when I'm building a house, personally I will just keep it on wall and make pillars one by one by the set amount of height I want. So it's pretty much a combination of line and wall. It's a win-win. In case you don't want a wall but you just want the frame of it, let's say you might want the polished underside and you don't want, you just want to have it hollow, right click once, just like before, right click twice. You just have to select this one right here. It looks way nicer this way. So I mean, this is not a build, this is not a proper build, this is just for demonstration purposes, so don't expect something good right now. And then you have the floor, which again, it creates a floor, but you might have noticed a problem here. There's already grass where I want the floor to be, so if I just do this, it will be one block above where I want it to be. So what you have to do is, let's say I want to destroy this block. Instead of right click, I'll click left click, and then I go left click again, and it destroys it. Same with the grass, right? Left click. Actually, you know what? Let's just keep it. Let's just keep it that way. Right click again, and there we go. Now, just to show you what you can do, again, I'm going to wall this block, left click, and then right click, left, right. That just created a huge window. And then we're going with the diagonals, diagonal line. It's a bit trickier to use, and it needs 3 right click instead of just 2, because not only you're drawing the diagonal on the X and Z axis, once you right click again, you can also move it up and down. So you can go like this. If you just want to keep it simple, you right click again, and then you right click again. It just draws it straight away. Now with a diagonal wall, same instance, right click once, right click twice, right click 3 times. If you barely want it right diagonal, just do it like that, right click twice, 3rd time, boom, a diagonal wall. Now slope floor, right click once, right click twice, and then you go up and down the way you want. Let's say we want to create some stairs. Yeah, they might be uneven. They're not necessarily meant to be stairs. But if you have the right dimensions, you might actually find the perfect spot where all the stairs are the same. This is more for a build instead of just stairs to walk on. And in case you want a long edge, select that and right click once, right click twice. As you can see, it has this edge instead. So you have all the possibilities when it comes to diagonal walls. Again, you already know what field and hollow is. So field will be a field circle, and hollow will be a hollow circle. Now, as you may have noticed already, you don't, when it comes to the circle, the cylinder, or the sphere, it doesn't have to be symmetrical. It can just be 18 by 6, for example. Sometimes when you get really big, you might have some gaps. That's simply because, mathematically speaking, it cannot find which block is better to put the blocks on, like right here or right here. And it's like, if I draw a line, it goes through the middle. It might be better if I don't put blocks instead of putting it. Yeah, that's kind of dumb in my opinion, but it is what it is. At least it's better than doing it manually. And you might have to go wider, like as you can see, like there are gaps, but if I go wider, the gaps are filled. Also this, the starting point, like as you can see, I start from here, I end here, the middle is somewhere in between, but if I go with the middle, this will be the center of the circle, and I just expand. If I fill it in again, same thing with the cylinder, but there's a 3rd dimension this time. Let me show you again. Like as you can see, after a certain point, everything turns red. I think that's because you reach a limit where it might lag a little bit, so have that in mind. And again, if I want it hollow, right click, and then right click again. Now I have a hollow cylinder. And with the sphere, personally I prefer having it very equal. All the dimensions must be the same, otherwise it doesn't look good. So right click, as you can see right now, I'm at 11 times 13, okay, 13 by 13. And then like if the height is 4, doesn't even look like a sphere, but as I move more and more, now it looks more like a sphere. I believe if I go back to normal mode, yep, it's hollow on the inside. Perfect sphere within seconds, really. Like 10 by 10 by 10. That's how easy it was. You don't need to write a whole command or anything. It's just 3 buttons. It's honestly like Alt, select a sphere, and then okay, maybe it's 5 buttons, but 15 by 15 by 15, and then just to check inside. Looks great. In case you might be wondering what's gonna happen if it's not equal, like all the dimensions are not equal. Let's say we create this. It's gonna look a bit junky. It's gonna have some gaps, and you might see the occasional lag sometimes when building something like this, obviously. At least you can do this manually, like it's not that big of a deal, but with bigger spheres you might actually have to face some problems. Doesn't look that bad, but it has its flaws, which I understand since this is not a sphere. This is a weird shape that doesn't really work in Minecraft, so that's that. And then there's a cube. There's a filled cube. 1 right click, 2nd right click, 3rd right click. That's a filled cube. You have a hollow one. Right click, right click, right click, and it's empty on the inside because obviously it's hollow. You can have a skeleton, which is right click, right click, right click, which is just the outline. And then what you can do is have it hollow, right click, right click, right click, and then we're going back to wall, left click, change it to field, left click, right click, right click. Yeah, this might be a big house with, well, a big room, but you can see the possibilities here. I honestly don't understand why not more people use this mod. Personally, since I found it, not since I found it, but since I started using it, haven't stopped. Like, I'm like, yeah, this is game changer in a literal sense. And like, as you can see, I've made a mistake. So what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna switch to this, and here. These are pretty much the basic features you can have. Now you might be wondering how I change from a skeleton frame to field without having to press Alt and press it here. As you might have already seen, like there's a key where it says which key needs to be used. I personally changed it to V. Yours might be something else. And again, you can undo, redo for Control Z and Y. Left Alt for the radial menu. So floor. Let's just go to the floor. Okay, now these are the basic features. Let's get into the more complicated ones. The first feature I want to show is these bundles. Now let's say I want a floor, but I don't want it to be just a single block. I want it to be multiples of them. What I can do is open one of these, shift, then right click, and then fill it up with the blocks I want. And now if I right click and right click, it randomizes the blocks that were inside of it. Let me show you again. If I put it here, right click, random blocks everywhere. And this is again way easier than other plugins such as Word Edit, where you need to type a whole command in order to have such a result. and you have 3 different bundles. I'm not sure if you can have more than 3. So thank you for watching, leave a like, subscribe, and I will see you in the next video.